Sunrise Daily, well, as you do know, different security issues playing itself out. The launch of Amotekun, don't forget, Mieti Allah also banned night grazing and so on. So different issues, but everything related to security. But this morning, we've got Mr. Adejimo here. He's the publicity secretary of Yoruba Summit Group, as well as Muhammad Labar, who is the chairman, Southwest Zone of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria. That's MACBAN. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
good
Mr. Adejimo,
good to have me back here.
Yes, indeed. But we've seen the papers. They are awash with different perspectives, different reactions concerning this launch of Amotekun and what they think of it. Yeah, people, they have a right to express their opinion. But having seen this impression that they do have, so I'm not exactly sure where all of this is headed. What do you think?
What I think is this. The Yoruba Summit Group is the umbrella body of all Yoruba groups, and I stand here articulating the view of many of us that are stakeholders in this project. Amotekun might just be that step. We would need to start from somewhere. We need to start building institutions. It is still part of the process of establishing true federalism. If a group of people are going to be sincere about their own future, they must take security as an important aspect, a pivotal aspect of their well-being and of actualizing their goals. We have had a series of insecurity issues plaguing the Yoruba, and we are not going to go into all of the statistics, but suffice to say that we have now decided that we must have a security architecture that is indigenous to us. Security is actually an indigenous thing. It belongs to you. It's even about the skin. It's skin deep. It's endogenous. You must be the one to take care of your own. In the deep Yoruba proverb of our fathers, Omidan tó bá lóun fẹ́ joyè abọ́bakú, òwe burúkú ló ń pa fún olórí láàfin. A maiden that has not even been taken to the inner room of the Kabiyesi now wants to die with the Kabiyesi as with the tradition. Is only sending a message to the old olórí in the palace. Nobody else can determine our security for us. We must do it.
But there will be those who have the impression, having listened to you just now, that when you say our own, our this, our that, what happened? You're still within Nigeria. There's Nigeria Police, there's Nigeria Army.
Good
so
question.
all of those agencies still exist. So when you say this, people can have the impression that, wait a minute, this is actually going to be oblivious, or perhaps you may take it as though this is superior to those other agencies.
Well, I wonder what exactly has happened to history and the teaching of it in Nigeria. In 1953, the Yoruba articulated their views at the London Conference. And the London Conference gave birth to that 1954 constitution that was truly federal. We had a Western House in London. We had Western region consulates all over the world. We had our own kind of architecture that determined, in the true sense of federalism, what each region should possess. We had all of that 67 years ago. Now what has happened? Have we progressed or have we regressed? In which case, look at the state. Well, a country like America that we're trying to even mimic. Every state in America has its own military. And I'm not talking about police. I'm talking about the State Defense Force, SDF, in America. You can Google it. They have their own state militia. I'm talking about military. Now, at every county, we have a sheriff. In the states in America, we have the state police, like the New York PD, NYPD. And then you will still have the FBI. Where are we going to start even going to tell people about policing from? I went to Akoko, a town there that is meant to be famous. There was a serious insecurity situation, and we went to a place that is supposed to be the police station. And we met a police post with 2 policemen, 2, to police a whole community of over 10,000 people. Look at that ratio. So how are you going to begin to look at what is going on now in terms of a larger Nigeria in which the personnel is not just there to police everywhere? We've been asking for state police for too long. People think it's just a matter of semantics. It is not. It is operational. If we are not going to have enough police from the federal to police every community, mind you, Yoruba land has 140 local governments. Have you come up across such statistics? If you haven't, I'm telling you, 140 local governments in all of Yoruba land. And then we have about 2,500 others, which means 2,500 communities. Now tell me the number of policemen that the federal have to go into the nook and crannies. So you will find an Oba in Yoruba land being whisked away from his palace with his wife. And some people are demanding ransom. And you are asking us not to demand for what is within the context of federalism?
Okay. Mr. Labar, today, one of today's dailies did say that Northern youths oppose Southwest governor's launch of Amotekun. So there are those who will think that, well, okay, if you're not here, living here around the Southwest, you may not understand properly. So, but you're here, you're in the region, you see what's going on, you heard comments about this, you may have even seen directly how this has come about. What do you think of this launch?
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm not going to get involved in a dramatic speech of people giving our views of what it is from other part of the country. I live here. I'm a Southerner. And thank God we operate together with the host communities. We do things together, jointly. Anyway, the launch of Amotek, or what it is, we were not involved, we were not aware, we were not invited. Actually, it's for the region, and it's a good thing. It's a welcome development. What do we have to say? For security purpose, we don't oppose it. Some other part of the country, or people saying, calling for other things about it, that negativity or what have you. All we need is security, actually. We need to be secured. It's a welcome development. We don't need to be, we just understand that there should be synergy between the launch security and the presence security that we have.
What points do people miss? Because a similar kind of reaction when different regions launch maybe a neighborhood watch or a security outfit, you'll always hear some comment from some quarters, some sort of apprehension. What is it that we always miss when these groups come up and people just begin to think, well, no, there's certain fears about some of this? Why do you think that happens?
Yeah, I think the fear is sometimes things fall out on a sentimental basis, because the lookout of it is what are their functions? How are they going to take their activities? Are they going to look at other tribes who doesn't belong, who are just being hosted? Are they going to be hostile to those tribes? Though we're thinking about Nigeria. Nigeria, we believe we are one. And what we are doing, though in our parts, our activities is rearing cattle all about, or being in activities of buying and selling of cattle. You know, it falls out to some security challenges, most especially where we find ourselves residing in the areas that do security challenges do come up most times in our communities, most especially the kidnap and armed robbery activities that do take place. You find out that most people are residing in areas where these things comes up. So the understanding is mostly we want harmonious synergy between us and whatever function is going to commence.
Do you have any concerns about this Operation Amotekun?
Yeah, my concern is there should be a sanitization between them and the residing communities who are not from here. I think that would be better, because if there's understanding, there won't be any need of looking at inwards what will take place or what will happen, because we're thinking about the past, the Oduwa People's Congress. You know how sometimes things happen, they descend on kind of communities, or their reactions if anything happens based on interrelationship between them and the other communities. the reaction goes as if these people are from the northern part, they don't belong here, they do things because they are not from this place, they harm people, and that shouldn't be looked at. We should be looked at harmonious part of being together as one Nigerian. I was born and brought up in this part of the country. So tell me, if anything could go and look at as if a sentimental basis come up, where do I have to go to? I should be part of whatever initiative that is coming up from the western part of this country, because I belong here. My children are here, my father, every of my family. So there's no cause for us to just sit down and understand. What do we do? Where do we go? What should we assist ourselves? Especially like what he's talking about, the Obas. We also have chiefs here, the Serkin Fulanis. Most of these, the western states, we have all over the local government. We have Serkin Fulanis as well, who are residing, who have been doing the activities peacefully, just to contribute to the development of this part of the country. We also have, recently, there is this committee that has been launched by some of the state governments, in collaboration with our communities, on activities of herders, farmers, clashes. We should look at their crisis and how to nip the crisis in the bud. I think the harmony should be there. If there's harmony, I think we'll live peacefully. There's nothing to look at whatever name we give security or what have you. The Civil Defense Corps came on board. Nothing goes wrong. It went well. I think the police started somehow too. It went well. So we don't have any cause to fear. We just need to have understanding and discussion and roundtable discussion. I think we'll get there.
Yeah, Mr. Adejumo, do you think that the
Can I respond to what you have said first?
Go ahead.
I haven't heard from anywhere where the JTF is operating in the north or the east by in Kano, and then the OPC and the Yoruba are called into it. So I shouldn't expect a sense of ownership or even a sense of laying claims to be wanting to be part of something that is not actually about you, it's about us. Like I said earlier, it is those who are within a community that will know what exactly they want to do. Now, again, why would there be even farmers' herders clash? If my farm is my farm, and I own the land, and I own the crops on it, why should somebody come and graze on it? Why should it become a clash? Why shouldn't even the idea of having to say, we cannot allow this to happen, be the watchword, the principle upon which to live in peace and in harmony with your neighbor? Which law, either common or religious or canon or even Sharia, allows anyone to take his cow into somebody else's farm and graze on it? In which case, you are not going to start to preach harmony if what you are doing is exactly inimical to the health of the people, to the economy of the people, to the security of the people, and then you come around through the back door to some kind of equity to demand for participation. It's not going to happen. So now you can ask your question.
Are you demanding for participation?
Not at all. I'm not demanding for participation in any way. But in the sense that we are together. No matter how it goes, there can be one way or the other in touch. Because in security challenges, we know sometimes, as he has said, there's no reason for herders to go to farmland and destroy what have you. But
how is Mediala working to identify those? Because sometimes I hear you say that you have some criminal elements, some of them who are perpetrating some of these crimes. How are you working to fish out those people and ensure that those kind of things don't happen?
Well, actually, as I told you, we have synergy with the security agencies working together, mostly on the restriction of night grazing, banning night grazing, which we are giving out, we are sanitizing our members, we are informing them that shouldn't commence. It has been earlier on before now. And you know, it's not funny that you find people preaching the law in any part of the country or any part of the tribe they are from, because they believe they want to achieve one or two things. So it is not specifically on a tribe. It's specifically on everybody that is rearing cattle And you know it's not the herders, Fulani in Nigeria alone that are rearing cattle. We have all over tribes that do the business as well. So it's all over on cattle rearers that are restricted. The information we give them, we meet them one-on-one, we go to all the rural communities, talk to them, inform them that this is not good. They should restrict doing it. They should remain at a particular point where they are. They should not move out overnight. If they want to do their activities, they should go in the afternoon.
Sorry, Mr. Adeyemo. Yes, please.
It is generally said, and I hope you believe it as well, that security is everybody's business. Do you agree with it?
I agree that the security situation of any community should have something to do with the participation of the stakeholders in that community.
You don't think...
What I'm trying to say is
you don't think everybody in the community should support security initiatives?
Well, are you going to ask a thief to support a security initiative? Are you going to ask someone who willfully damages your property to support an initiative? I should believe that it is the... if you are not going to look at security out of the context of those who are entrusted with security. For example, the police, that is their primary job. The job of the community, somebody like you and I, perhaps might be to cooperate, to give information, and to be able to expect justice back. Outside of that, what you may have is that if you want to just ascribe security to everybody's responsibility, then somebody may decide to take the laws into their hands. So what we need is this. Let us entrust those who have the right to maintain security to continue to do so, and encourage the society to be able to give information.
Who would those people be in this case?
Well, it will have to be about the initiative that has come across now, which is late, which is little, but we are accepting. In which case, the question is, has the security situation, the Nigerian state that it has put up, given the Nigerian a sense of security? In which case, have the police been able to do everything? Have we been able to see even one AK-47 carrying headsman arrested? There are lapses, which simply means there must be areas of plugging these lapses. And if we have an Amotekun today, we may have something else tomorrow. I've just told you what happens in a place like the United States of America. They too have had their own challenges about security. They have started from the county level. You have the sheriff. They have graduated to the state. They have even the federal. The federal will have, just like the FBI, the crimes that are on the federal list. The state will handle certain things, and then the community, you have those who will deal with issues.
Is this the thinking behind Amotekun?
Sorry?
Is this the thinking behind Amotekun?
I would want to believe that it is, because give it to those who have been able to pilot the affairs of the Yoruba state, right from the olden times, when we had a Yoruba empire that had the executive in the Alafin, the legislative in the Ogboni and the Oyomesi, and then the judiciary, the legislative in the Oyomesi and the judiciary in the Ogboni and the Warefa. We've had a semblance of all of that all along before we came to the modern era. And in the modern era, everybody knows what the Western region was able to do. If we have had all of that going for us, we won't be here where we are today. So I would say the Amotekun thing has come from an innate, embedded capacity of the Yoruba to take care of whatever it is that is befalling them in the areas of insecurity.
Now speaking of synergy between
Yes.
Yoruba groups, I remember yesterday the spokesperson of Afenifere said, they're not a part of this pretty much. They weren't consulted. So how does that play into this Amotekun? Do you think that harms it or otherwise?
It's a moving target. If you're not part of it today, does not mean that you're not going to be part of it tomorrow. What we believe in is the building of strong institutions. You have to start from somewhere. It may not be all-inclusive from day one, but once that institution is there, it will grow. Other things will be added to it. Yesterday was just the launch. There are those who are working on the modalities and the technicalities of it. We're going to probably have technology coming into it, in which case, will somebody who is making an app that can get someone in the village to press on a button on his phone to report insecurity be part of the launch of yesterday. So there will be startups, there will be additions, there will be groups that will key into it, and there will be a total architecture that will be added on to what has happened yesterday. So let no one feel that he's been left behind. It will have to be that, because I would want to believe that those who have brought about this commission, this network, already know where it would be, maybe by next year, and maybe the goal is another 5 years we will have been able to surpass even all of this that we're talking about. And then probably it will be other things that will be challenging us that we'll be talking about in another 2 years.
Okay, my colleague Mark has a question for you. Mark, go ahead.
But isn't that where the problem lies? I mean, the fear and the anxiety that's been expressed by other parts of the country, because your explanation, and this is for Mr. Diem, seems to be talking about an us versus them kind of scenario, rather than, you know, the problems that we have could actually be internal. Isn't that where the problem and the fear and the anxiety lie?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
She's saying us against them. Isn't that where the fear and anxiety may be founded for those who have fears?
Make it us against them. Somebody else made it us against them. We remember in year 2000, somebody came and said, why are your people killing my people in Okyogun? We never made it us against them. You can't expect a victim to become a villain. If we are sitting down in our homes and then somebody comes to abduct our Oba, if we are sitting down in our farms and somebody comes to destroy our farms and then uses cows to make a family miserable, then you can't make it about us. It is about those who have decided that they want to upset our peace, in which case every human being has a right to self-defense. If we are going to have to defend ourselves, then of course, why should it be that we must roll over and die? So if it is about looking at what is happening in other places where they have decided that they must fight those they call bandits in Zamfara and in Katsina, then why is it not about them? If we are thinking about our future and the future of our generation and the preservation of our patrimony, then why should it be about us?
Okay, so at the moment, the police, the Daily's reported the police, the army, many thought that they were going to be there because the IGP had said there were going to be special forces, but they were not present. Does it suggest that perhaps they're not on the same page with this?
Nobody should expect that everything should have a seamless transition from what is expected to what we have. What we have is what we will have to nurture. We will build it and develop it in such a situation that it will become all of that which will fall into the expectations of all. I started by saying that this is perhaps the basic, critical, minimal, irreducible kind of security situation in which we envisage. It is not exactly what we want.
Okay, just a quick one before we go. Those countries you mentioned, they had laws that set up those agencies you mentioned. What law sets up Amotekun?
There will always have to be laws, and there will always have to be regulations. No community can live without them. What we have is already gazetted, in which case, within the zone, there has been a way of looking at how to move forward. It's been backed up. 6 states are keyed into it. 6 states provided personnel, they provided the infrastructure, they provided the vehicles. That alone should suffice for a regional force. Any which way we want to call it, it will now behove on those who are going to run it to make sure that they run it within the ambits of the law. And I believe that the Yoruba people are law-abiding and they will do everything according to the law.
All right, then you heard Mr. Agboyega Adejimo, Publicity Secretary of Yoruba Summit Group. Thank you for your thoughts this morning.
Thank you for having me.